Howdy soldiers, pro tip for all of you today, don't put on plumping lip gloss if you have a cut on your lip because it burns. Also, I don't quite know what this look is today because I just got this new dress and it's very cottagecore. So I put on a choker to make it like a little bit more my style, and now I feel like a wannabe goth milkmaid. And you know, I'm sure goth milkmaid core exists somewhere on the internet, so I guess that's just today's look. April was a weird month for reading because I got through some of these books in like a day, and then I also took like 2 weeks for some of them too, mostly because exams happened and all of my brain power is being funneled towards Beowulf, which I did not count towards this reading wrap-up, but now that I think about it, maybe I should. That classic literature aside, I read 6 books in the month of April, and I have a lot of feelings for all of them. Also, cover artists have stepped up their game. Every single one of these has a banging cover, so I don't know, you know, maybe like it's a year of all like the new young professionals entering the workforce or something. Ooh, my bank account and I are not on speaking terms because some of these are just so beautiful that I'm kind of like, I don't really care if it's good or not, I need that on my shelf. If any of you are younger than me and wondering what it's like being in your early mid-20s, just know that it's drinking more caffeine than eating solid food and constantly struggling with your bank account now that you have adult money and want to buy shiny things. So without further ado, let's do an April reading wrap-up. First up on this list is one you probably saw in the thumbnail, or maybe not. I always shoot the thumbnail after I shoot the video, so I have no idea what's going on. Ma'am, can you return to your assigned seat? But as an avid Leigh Bardugo fan, of course I had to pick up Rule of Wolves, and I'm so happy that I did! This is the second and end of the King of Scars duology that focus on kind of all the characters from both Six of Crows and Shadow and Bone. Wow, it's like blanked there for a moment. More caffeine is needed. Girl, you just watched the TV show, like get yourself together. So whenever I read a book, I usually take some notes, just kind of like cursory things, just so when I film one of these videos I can remember my talking points. And my notes for this book are just, in all capitals, such good twists, crying, and so many feelings. First of all, this is a war book. This is bloody, this is violent, this is existential. This focuses in on the more minute details of war. But at the same time, I felt this had a good balance of tactical planning, magic mumbo-jumbo, and Nikolai making jokes. There are so many layers to this duology that fully come to fruition here. I'm truly rooting for every single hero with all of my heart.
Hello, this is Editing Rachel. I realized in all my excitement that I forgot to mention how there were some storylines that were picked and dropped in this book out of nowhere that I have qualms with, like the Queen of the Shu Han and Nina and Hane in Fjerda, just like, hello? And then there's like this dope-ass monastery that is in it for like 0.5 of a second that I'm like, excuse me, ma'am? What is going on there? But Nikolai doesn't die and we get a freaking dragon, so
this does like put an end to the Grishaverse series, and if they stopped here I wouldn't be mad. Regardless of some things they may have left like slightly open-ended. The second one I want to mention is a book that I'm so glad I finally picked up because I've been seeing all over the internet, specifically on Book Talk, The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Oh my god. Put me in white makeup and a red nose because I have been clowning around not reading this book. This is like if Lemony Snicket wrote a book for adults and was also an optimist. This book is like a hug with some demons and some job dissatisfaction. It is wholesome as fuck. And in case you also have been involved in some clownery and have not picked up this book, this is about a character named Linus Baker who works for the department in charge of magical youth. In a magic realism world, he is assigned to go visit the caretaker and see the children of the orphanage at the House in the Cerulean Sea. The orphanage that holds the most interesting and mysterious of magical children. There he meets the headmaster, Arthur Parnassus, which is one of my favorite names, and it's this big found family adventure about him learning about the children and like falling in love and then falling in love with everybody, and we learn to accept others even if they're not like us, and it was just, oh my god, it was so cute. It was just, my heart! Love me a good found family, love me a good magical found family. Like, I don't even want children, and I am fully willing to adopt every single one of them. This is a feel-good book if there ever was one. I'm very happy now that this is in my life. I feel fulfilled. Now, following up Cerulean Sea would be a very difficult job for the best book out there, but the book I read after it is one that I didn't enjoy quite as much, and I'm sad to say that, because I love some sapphic witches. I really do. But Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley just did not hit right for me. First of all, I'm super over the magic plagues. I'm sure every single person last year and this year is over all of the plague stuff. Like, can we please get a different plot line? Like, the Sapphic witch plot line can bleed into reality, but that's where I'm cutting it off. This is in a world where there are witches who can cast magic using their own energy, and other people called sources who are a source of energy, and usually witches and sources will pair up to be like the dynamic duo. This is about Ren, who is a source trying to protect her father, and Tamsin, a young witch who's been disgraced and kicked out of the coven, as the two of them fight against this magic plague and learn to love each other as enemies to friends to lovers type scenario with magic. This book is Baby's first sapphic romance, which, fair, some people don't want overt sexuality in their books. There's nothing wrong with that. This book will be for you. But for me, it was one of those books that, like, we're looking at each other for, like, 80% of the book, and then, oh my god, we're holding hands! And it was... okay, we're literally seeing, like, a plague ravages this land, and, like, gore and, like, blood, but, like, heaven forbid there's two girls too close together. To me, this book was just fine. Like, I like the characters well enough, I like the twist, there's some good secrets, but it just felt kind of meh, and the pacing was all over the place. And as you can see from that receipt tucked in there, I will be taking this back to the store. So, not for me, but maybe for you. Is it spooky time yet? Not quite spooky time. That's gonna be the end of the video. In the meantime, let's talk about the one book that I don't have a physical copy of, which I got on Kindle. Unlimited, I think, because I saw it advertised on Book TikTok, so that's just another lesson of how well Book Talk is good at selling people things, and that is The Audacity of Demons by Trina Emily. This is a fairly typical paranormal romance. It was fun, it was fast, definitely not something that I usually read, which was a kind of a fun switch up. So we have this paranormal mystery police, sort of, got the wizard cops, the Circle of the Veil, and they're recruiting paranormal creatures who have gone one step too far and, like, almost exposed paranormal sea to the rest of the world. Blaze is a vampire with blood magic who gets caught and recruited, and now we're in a boarding house training, and every man with or without a pulse wants to bang her. But I am so over having the love interest push boundaries and it being sexy that I'm team werewolf on this one. It took me maybe an hour to read. It was a good romp with demons if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, second last is one that I have feelings towards. Not that I don't have feelings for the rest of them, but this one is like feelings, you know? You'll get it if you read it, and that is Down Comes the Night by Alison Saft. First of all, the fuck is this cover? This is boring as shit. If I hadn't seen this on Book Talk, but some of my trusted Book Talker friends recommending this, I never would have picked this up. Like, hello? Snooze fest. But I gotta say, this is a gothic steampunk romance that is atmospheric as fuck. Gorgeous writing, amazing imagery. This is about a girl named Ren, who is a magical healer in the Queen's army, who gets herself exiled because of doing some wrong things. You get it. And she takes a job to go to a mysterious crumbling gothic mansion a few cities away to cure a servant of a reclusive lord. And when she gets there, she finds out that that man is in fact the sworn enemy, the Reaper of Vesria of the other team? Battle team? Army. Look, my finals have officially sapped my brain cells. You're lucky I'm even stringing words together coherently. So she has this turmoil of healing her sworn enemy, but then, oh my god, they get to know each other, and oh wow, there's this conspiracy between the kingdoms, who would have guessed? And they have to work together, and then there's a lot of stuff with, like, science and magic. Yet again, a surprising war book. This really focuses on who and what you would die for, and the realities of war, and the gore, and the hurt, and the pain. What it also does really well is it focusing on conflict, because this really deep dives into those smaller interpersonal connections and experiences that really make the book more relatable. But oh my god, Ren, we get it, you're emotional. Like, girl, same, but like, I don't go around actively lamenting about it. And I did feel like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity when it came to Hal's character. Also, why are you naming your love interest Hal? That's not a name that I can... No, we're not going there. I feel like they forgot and forgave a little too fast. Like, Ren, you know, like, you were there when he killed your entire squadron. Like, why is that sexy to you? And the ending was a little too classic happy YA to really match with this, like, dark, gritty, gothic, like, war book. I can definitely tell this is a debut novel, but she came out swinging a sword. or maybe a gun. Do they have tanks in this world? I can't quite remember, but it's very good. And lastly is the book that I think is, this might be one of my new favorite books. The House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland is macabre and unsettling, and it's perfect. 10 years ago, Iris Hollow and her two sisters went missing from the streets of Edinburgh for 1 month. When they came back, they had no memory of what had happened. Their eyes start turning black, their hair starts turning white, their family is ripped apart by their disappearance, and the media goes insane as they grow older. Wow, alright, that sun sure did come out. And it is the story of Iris and her rock star sister Vivi as their third fashion designer sister Grey goes missing once again. I can't say anything else because literally everything that I could possibly say about this is a spoiler. So trust me when I say that this is eerie, it's creepy, it's unsettling. It has some of the most beautiful descriptions that I have ever read in my life. Her word choice is impeccable. The way that she uses words to her advantage to give the reader that creeping, eerie feeling. I literally had to put this down because I was reading it at like 10:30 at night and I'm like, this man with the ram skull on his head is gonna come for me. I'm going to read you some passages in particular just to show how beautiful her language is. Our eyes turned black, our hair turned white, our skin began to smell like milk and the earth after rain. We were always hungry, but never seemed to gain weight. We ate and ate and ate. We even chewed in our sleep, grinding down our baby teeth and sometimes biting our tongues and cheeks so we woke up with blood-stained lips. The air here smelled sodden, bloated with damp. Where the stench exploded onto the street, soaking the air. It hung from the branches of trees like necklaces. Reading this book was like I was waiting for something, and I didn't know what it was until I read this. It touches some part of my deep, dead soul, and oh, this is the new love of my life. So there you have it. There is a wrap up of my April books. I told you I had a lot of feelings, and I did. Just not all of them were happy and pure. Please leave down below if you yourself have read any of these, especially House of Holo. I feel like that one is a very polarizing book because people really hate it or love it. I also recently did a video on watching the Shadow and Bone TV show, which was so good, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head since. So if you want to talk about that as well, or if you finish Rule of Wolves and you want to just like, you know, keep up that high, go check that out. Thank you everybody who bullied me into reading House on the Cerulean Sea. I owe you one. There was a heat wave in Vancouver like a week ago, and now it's just full-on spring. That was a psych moment if I ever saw it, because now it's like raining and dreary. And here I am in my goth milkmaid outfit trying to have a hot girl summer, but apparently it's going to be rainy bitch spring for a while. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!